you're less productive and less happy. So if you are facing everyday exhaustion, this webinar might help you to take some steps to recharge your personal battery and help you energize your mind and body.
But first of all, let me ask you, do you hear us? And, you know, everything is okay from the technical point of view? Maybe someone can just chat that you hear us and you can see us. We are together in one.
All in a row, that it's great. So I think that everything is fine.
Yes, sounds great. Okay, thank you, Owen and Julie. Okay. So I will just underline again. So we have dedicated this 2 hours today, an hour afternoon and your morning in US for the webinar about energy transformation and how to fuel our energy across 4 dimensions, which is physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Okay, let me go to another.
Okay, so before we move on to our webinar, let us introduce ourselves. Daria?
Okay, so I know some of you, so because I just checked who is participating today in the webinar, so my most welcome to all people I know. So my name is Daria Lewandowska, and we both are here based in Poland, in Wrocław, which is our home city. And I'm a sociologist by education and graduated from MBA studies in Warsaw. And what I do is I work with individuals and with groups on psychosocial skills as a trainer, as a coach, and using different interventions, different psychological methods, and helping people to improve their emotional energy, especially now when we all are facing very challenging times. And, you know, taking care of yourself, your well-being, and your energy management, actually. And Kasia?
My name is Katarzyna Ujek, and I have been training for 10 years. I am sociologist as Daria, certified business trainer, and work as mental toughness expert. I am specialized in stress management, mostly mental toughness and resilience, emotional intelligence, and energy management.
Okay, so what we will do today, since we are having a limited time, but still we will learn a little bit about innovative model of personal effectiveness according to Tony Schwartz. Maybe you have heard about him before. You will know how to better cope with modern requirements, stressors, fatigue, lack of focus, maybe overstimulation. You will learn how to transform your own energy based on the 4 sources of power, which is the physical source, emotional source, mental, and spiritual. We will talk a little bit about everyday habits and rituals just to take care of ourselves in those 4 quadrants. And we will talk about very practical ways and proven ways to regenerate your own resources and energy, because we think that if you have decided to sign into this webinar, that probably you need to know more and you need more tools in order to recharge and transform your energy. So this webinar today is for everybody who believes that, how we feel profoundly influences how we perform, and is dedicated for everyone that is interested in understanding your own energy gaps, deficits in more skillfully and more skillful ways of fueling it across those 4 dimensions. So we can all thrive better in this high intensity environment. Okay, and a very short agenda for today is that we will have this kind of, knowledge transfer for 90 minutes. And then the last part, so half an hour, will be dedicated for your questions. And we will be very happy to answer all the questions. And we suggest just to call each other by name. So Daria, Kasia, and we will just check all the participants and call you by names, if you are okay with it, of course. Okay, so let's start with this quote, which is the quote from Tony Schwartz, and the book he wrote entitled "The Way We Are Working Is Not Working," and about the 4 forgotten needs that energize great performance. So just have a second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, just to think about, is the life you are living worth the price you are paying to live it? So think about what toll does it take over time if you get too little sleep, if you skip breakfast or settle for something unhealthy, if you struggle with relentlessly challenging commute, if you are maybe attending webinar after webinar, meeting after meeting virtually with no breaks in between, or maybe if you are pumping yourself up through the day with multiple cups of caffeine or sugary snacks. Maybe you work on the weekends, or maybe you limit your vacations to no more than a week or 2, or if you vacation at all. So when we are in this fight or flight mode, our hormones that are associated with this flight or fight mode, which are cortisol, adrenaline, there is circulating in our body for too long, keeping our arousal high, and they become toxic, not just physically, but also emotionally and mentally. So the most immediate problem with the fight or flight state is that our prefrontal cortex begins to shut down. And when it happens, we become reactive rather than reflective. We lose precisely what we need most in, these complex times, the capacity to think analytically and imaginatively, and to embrace nuance and paradox rather than choosing up sides. So according to some trauma researchers, the antidote is to give people practical and specific ways to lower their physiological arousal and get out of this fight or flight mode. So if you are hyper aroused, and a lot of us are much of the time, you must learn first how to regularly relax your body. And only then it is possible to calm your emotions and quiet your mind and make wiser choices as well. So we will be talking today about what is the price that we are paying when we are living in this very fast-paced environment. And maybe you have heard about this acronym, the VUCA word. And according to Swedish psychiatrist Anders Hansen, what he stated is that never before has the world around us changed that fast, and so did our working environment. So as Kasia said a couple of minutes before, we all are dealing with constant changes, pressures, accelerating the pace of life, workload, ever increasing demands. And this means that we are more and more prone to the feeling of burnout and permanent exhaustion. So we feel busy, we feel stressed out, we feel overloaded with tasks and responsibilities, which make us deprived of vital energy. And this affects our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health.
And it's also worth to add that for those of you who haven't heard the VUCA, so it's the acronym for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. So the world we live in is full of changes, challenges, and uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, and volatility.
So we bear the cost of such life, which is being irritated, lack of concentration, maybe no time for yourself, no time for taking care of yourself, no time for your friends or family. Maybe you sleep too little, maybe you eat in a way that is not the most healthy way. So what actually is happening is just, you can imagine, this is a symbol of, an iceberg. So on the top, we behave in certain way and we experience certain emotions, but what really happens is beneath the surface. So as you can see, the battery is actually, without the power, and managing our own energy today is really very important. It's more important now than ever. So without a high level of energy, none of us are able to achieve our private and professional goals. So for a state of optimal human functioning, we need 4 sources of power, which is, as we said before, physical source, emotional, mental, and spiritual. So let's do now a very quick activity with you and take a couple of seconds, a minute, and please write down in the chat box, which you all have access to and we can see it, and answer to each of the following questions. So the first questions we would like to ask you is, what are some words, associations, some keywords that describe how you feel and behave when your energy is really, really high? So if you can please share with us in the chat. Okay.
So Angie wrote that happy.
So
high performance, accuracy,
talkative, effective, happy, excited, motivated.
Happy, excited, energetic.
So words that describe how you feel and how you behave when your energy is high.
Hopeful, sing.
I sing too. Kasia sings too.
And play the guitar.
Happy,
excited.
So when energized, so smiling and able to overcome any obstacles. When people were asked about how they feel and behave when their energy is high, most people who were the respondents of this survey responded with words like vibrant, enthusiastic, passionate, confident, or motivated. Energized, as you are excited, as you have, all of you have described your feelings. So let us ask you the second question, which is what are some words, associations, how you feel, how you behave when your energy is low? So the opposite, when you feel really, down. These are the wrong. Sleepy,
depressed, tired,
depressed. Irritable, demotivated,
unmotivated, tired, exhausted, worn out, sleepy, slow,
short-tempered. Yes, we
Lack of focus.
We are reactive rather than reflective.
Losing direction. Unsociable, quiet, tired.
So again, the same research has shown that as for words associated with low energy, most people think of words like sluggish, tired, sad, worried, or unmotivated. You question self. We are on the right track. So we all experience the same, more or less the same words, the same feelings and behaviors as it comes to describing when we have high energy and low energy. So thanks for sharing with us. This is a quotation that we really we often use during our trainings and coaching sessions, that we don't need more information. We are so full of information. We are overloaded with information. Actually, what we need is transformation to become the best versions of ourselves. So we need to transform. The energy. We need to transform the information we already know and use it, because we just get more and more of new information, and we are not capable of digesting and processing the whole bunch of information overload. So we need more transformation than information nowadays. And we would like to tell you about this. Concept of innovative concept, which actually was invented 5,000
years ago.
Years ago, and it's very famous in the ancient wisdom. So Tony Schwartz, he just put a model on this, and he organized the energy management into the 4 quadrants.
And he also implemented this model into business.
Of course. Mm-hmm. So he is actually the founder and CEO of the Energy Project. And this is a consulting firm that helps individuals and whole organizations more skillfully manage their energy, so they can thrive better in a world of, raising demand and complexity. So by taking care of the 4 springs, we can do it while working in harmony with our own biology and predispositions. So moreover, what he is saying is that granting value to rest, to relaxation, to chilling out, ultimately allows us to live more mindful and meaningful lives. So let me go just very shortly by each quadrant. So you can see on the slide now what actually it is about. So the physical energy is in reality the fundamental source of fuel. So it affects our ability to manage our emotions, sustain concentration, and even maintain our commitment to whatever mission we are on. So
I will just only add that we can manage our physical energy through these key factors as breathing, eating, sleeping, and also physical activity, exercising.
And Kasia, in a couple of minutes, will dig deeper into this physical energy, and she will tell you about some practical tips what to do in order to recharge yourself physically. So how we feel physically, how we charge physically influences our
mental state, spiritual,
and
energy,
emotional.
So
mental energy is another quadrant, is another source of power that we can charge. And just as physical energy is the fundamental fuel for emotional competences, so it's the fuel for mental skills. So what we think will influence what we feel. And in practical terms, the key muscles or competencies that fuel positive emotions are, the muscles that fuel optimal mental energy include, for example, mental preparation, visualization, positive self-talk. So what I'm talking to myself, what I'm thinking about myself in my internal self-talk, how effective I'm managing time, and how creative I am. So this also falls into this mental energy quadrant. And Kasia will cover this as well in a couple of minutes. As it comes to emotional energy and spiritual energy, this is the part that I will cover. And in order to perform at our best, we must access pleasant and positive emotions as often as possible. So we need to have access to enjoyment, challenge, adventure, and opportunity. So we need to be very mindful what kind of emotions we experience daily, on a daily basis. So what fuel our energy here is positive emotions, like the feeling of self-confidence, regulation of our emotional state, our social skills, how empathy we are, patient, open, trustful, and how joy we experience daily. And the last part is spiritual energy. So the quantity of energy we have to spend at any given moment is a reflection of our physical capacity. Our motivation to spend what we have is largely a spiritual issue. Fundamentally, spiritual energy is a unique force for action in all dimensions of our lives. So it is the most powerful source of our motivation, perseverance, and direction.
And also engagement. And we define spiritual not only in the religious sense, but rather in more simple and elemental terms. So the connection to a deeply held set of values and to a purpose beyond our self-interest. The key muscle that fuels personal sacrifice and hardship. Supportive spiritual muscles include passion, commitment, engagement, that I mentioned, integrity and honesty.
So now we would like you to do a very short exercise. So the starting point is that what you cannot change what you don't notice. So if we are not aware of something, for example, where our energy goes, what are our energy gaps or deficits, then we cannot change it because we are not aware of it, right? We don't notice it. So here you have on the slide like an image visualization of the 4 dimensions. So we have 4 statements for each category. So we have 4 statements for the spirit part, the body part, emotions, and the mind part. And in a second, I will send you via chat this wheel, and I would like you to take some time to read the questions and think about, okay, in which category, maybe in all of them, or maybe only 1 or 2, you think that you have the biggest gap. So you need to take care firstly, for example, about your body, maybe your emotions, maybe your mind, maybe your spirit. So I will just stop sharing now. And okay, I will just stop sharing and I will send you via chat to everyone.
This image with this wheel to help you assess your energy levels.
More. 2. Google Drive? No. Dropbox. Energy. We're just figuring out how to share the document. No open questions.
Should have opportunity to share it from your computer, but you don't.
I don't have. Okay, it's
so maybe just if you could give us information if you see the wheel from presentation in good way. So maybe that
maybe I will do it differently because I wanted to share with you, but I don't know how. But
we'll just share.
Sure.
Share and the picture maybe.
Okay, so maybe probably
right like that.
So now it's time for you. So please have a look at this image. So, for example, when it comes to spirit, I don't invest enough time and energy in making a positive difference to others or to the world. My decisions at work are more often influenced by external demands than by a strong, clear sense of my own purpose. So just go one by one, read it and think of it, or write somewhere on the piece of paper where actually are the biggest deficits or gaps, energy gaps.
Maybe we'll have 2, maybe 3 minutes for this exercise. Just to give you opportunity to be self-aware of the gaps or the areas.
If those statements, they don't apply to you, it means that you are perfectly managing this quadrant, right? As it comes to energy, emotional energy management or physical.
If you finish, just give us information via chat and we will move on.
Okay, how Mauricio, thank you for sharing in the chat.
So you see that there is a area in emotions level and body also.
Let's give other people some more time, so we all are on the same page.
I don't spend enough time at work doing what I enjoy most, but isn't that a normal thing? So Daria will also give some reflection about this area, about engagement at work. So we will discuss.
But the short answer, Angie, is no, it's not normal. I mean, it's normal. It's a new normal. It's a new norm. But this is where our life energy is decreasing. Ideally, we should spend our time on things that we enjoy doing, and we do only things we are enjoying. This is where we are like,
maybe not only, but maybe mostly.
Only.
Yeah, I disagree. Life is life sometimes.
I mean,
Very often.
ideally.
Okay. We would like to give you some questions, another questions, and do a quiz with you.
So I will stop sharing now, and maybe I will just, why I cannot,
I don't know.
send it here. I'm just inventing what to do in order to type. No, paste. No, it doesn't work.
So right now we will share a quiz from Menti.
Let me go to the presentation and just once again. Okay, we have finished here. My computer is going crazy, but okay, so some of you have shared already on the chat where are which quadrants are the quadrants that really need to be taken care of in the first at first, and then but let us do a quiz so we can see the overall statistics of our group, which is 20 plus people. So you can use either your browser, internet browser, Firefox, Chrome, Safari, whatever you are using, and open a new web page, which is www.menti.com, and use this code. Or you can use your phone, and you can use your phone and use this code as well. In either device it will work. So what we will do,
you have to stop share and share the Menti.
Yeah, and I will stop share and share the Menti. Can you write a rule and code here? Of course I can. So in the chat, I'm just using two screens. Go to, okay.
So first of all, you have to go to this website and then write this code, and you will have the opportunity to do this quiz.
So as you can see, I'm going to menti.com here. So you can do the same.
Just write down this code here.
What was the code?
Presentation.
Okay. So if you go to menti.com, either on your computer or on your iPhone, I'm just typing this code, and you have a question. What are your biggest energy gaps? So you may, of course, choose multiple options. Maybe it's physical, maybe it's emotional, maybe it's mental, maybe it's spiritual.
Or maybe all of them.
Maybe all of them, maybe 1, 2, 3, or all 4. So let's see. How it looks in our group. Okay, so the number one is physical energy. So thank you for participating. So 33% is that you have probably the biggest gaps as it comes to energy deficits is in the part of physical energy. So Kasia, you're perfect quadrant. So moving the body, taking care of the body. And then 27% of us are having emotional energy gaps. So this is the part where you need to have a closer look at, and we will cover this as well today. Then spiritual energy, so being connected with the force, with the bigger force than us, with our truth, with our purpose, values and purpose. Mm-hmm. And let's say the smallest number of us are having the least energy gaps in the mental energy. So you probably are very mindful and you are aware of what you think about. But Kasia will cover this as well today. So thank you for sharing, and you can have a look how it looks in our group today. So let me just get out of here somehow.
Stop share.
Okay, stop share.
And start sharing again.
Okay, so now you are wiser because you know where your energy deficits are and gaps are. Okay, so now we have noticed this, now we can change this, right? So you have noticed which quadrant is the quadrant or quadrants that require the most attention, so you can start doing something with it. Mm-hmm. Or ignoring it. At least you know why you feel the way you feel. But let's now have a closer look to how we can refuel ourselves like this, like we do with our phones, smartphones, iPhones, other smartphones. All of us are probably always having a recharging cable in the back.
And we remember about that.
We always remember, oh my God, my battery is low, I need to recharge my battery, whenever you are.
Computer and our car, we need to refuel our car.
Yeah, we don't sleep, we don't eat, but we have our phones always on. But let's think about what we can do to refuel our batteries ourselves.
Mm-hmm. So just to give you some information about recharging, could you give me the previous slide?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So we live in a really incredibly busy world, and the pace of life is often frantic. Our minds are always busy and we are always doing something. So in fact, we spend more time looking after our cars, our clothes, our phones, our houses, our beauty. We remember, as Daria said, to charge our phone, but very often we forget how to recharge ourselves. So right now it's time for us to recharge and refill our gas tank so we can deal with the opportunities and challenges that lie ahead. So your personal energy has 4 interlinked components, as we mentioned: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. When these resources aren't replenished periodically, so irritability and frustration arise, making you sometimes impatient when dealing with coworkers, family, and friends. And you may also experience feelings of loss or sadness or becoming prone to bouts of anxiety. So everyone recharges differently. It's very important to find the fuels that work best for you and replenish your various energy reserves. We will start from physical energy. So we will show you a few ways to get your energy back. First of all, we have physical energy. So we will take a close look to recharge yourself physically. The most crucial, significant thing is taking good care of your body, and it can make it easier to recharge also your mind. The last thing you may feel like doing when you are tired is exercising, but many studies show that physical activity boosts really energy levels. Exercise has consistently been linked to improved vigor and overall quality of life. So people who become active have a greater sense of self-confidence, but also exercise improves the working efficiency of your heart, lungs, and muscles. That's the equivalent of improving the fuel efficiency of a car. It gives you more energy for any kind of activity. Exercise and body movement is beneficial for your body and your mind, and also activates the endorphin in your brain, which helps you to improve your mood and relieve stress. So many people find exercise to be a duty. So maybe it's not so enjoyable. It's really important to choose the activity that you really like. So you can choose yoga, fun cardio classes, or walking in the park or by the lake. So you can start running, you can start dancing, as Daria. So she found it really, really enjoyable. I like running. So it's really a huge hobby also for me. So when you are very exhausted, it can be really tempting to just sit in the front of the TV after a long day. But that usually just makes us feel more tired. Instead of sitting down to recharge, try getting up and moving around. So walking or biking, even just for 20 minutes, can really leave you feeling energized for hours. So first of all, physical energy, it's really, really crucial. The second tip, which is very significant, is water. So keeping hydrated is crucial for your health and also well-being, but many people do not consume enough fluids each day. we drink water a lot, and it's really very important. So we are used to take with us some bottle and just try to drink it very often. So drinking adequate amounts of water or staying hydrated is the first rule of health and nutrition. Our bodies can supposedly last weeks without food, yet just a few days without water. This makes sense when you realize our bodies are made up of about 60% water, and that being dehydrated can affect us both physically and mentally. It's commonly recommended that you drink 8 glasses of water per day. So if you don't stay hydrated, your physical performance really can suffer. Water is an essential part of a healthy, balanced diet because the body relies on it to function properly. All the body's chemical processes take place in water. We need water for digestion, to absorb nutrients, to help us move, get rid of waste products, and to regulate our body temperature. If the body doesn't have enough water, it won't function as well. So if you need regular reminders to drink water, just install for instance, the Hydro Coach, it's free application, which allows you to set your target intake, or you can use the app's calculator to determine an appropriate daily goal. So the app will remind you when it's time to drink up. So the second tip, very helpful, is drinking water. The third one is sleep. So sleep is the foundation of our physical energy. For too many of us buy into the myth that 1 hour less of sleep allows us one more of productivity. In fact, even very small amounts of sleep deprivation significantly undermine capacity for focus, analytic thinking, and also creativity. So the research is clear. More than 95% of us require 7 to 8 hours of sleep in order to be fully rested. And for our brains to optimally embed new learning. So great performers, ranging from musicians to athletes, often get even more than 8 hours. And we also, with Daria, try to take care about our sleeping quality. So we know that it's really, really helpful to stay engaged, motivated. And when we don't rest enough, we feel that we are exhausted.
Yes, and if I may just to put some information from my side, is that when you are skipping this natural biological clock, then it really influences your emotional and mental state. So it's best to go to sleep really like between 9 and 10 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
I know it really is almost impossible for us because nowadays we stay longer hours during evenings, but we should really resonate with the sunset and the sunrise. So people who are waking up late, for example, I don't know, at 8 or 9 o'clock, they statistically they suffer more mental dysfunctions or disorders, and it's really very important to keep your sleeping habits, rituals, just to really be serious about it, right? Mm-hmm. Of course, it's getting challenging when you are having babies, and you know how it can influence the quality of your day. So actually the quality of your day starts the night before. So depending on what time do you go to sleep and you fall asleep, and how you sleep will influence your entire day the day after. So how you feel physically, emotionally, and mentally.
Mm-hmm. And also 2 simple strategies can help. So the first is to set a specific bedtime and to begin winding down at least 30 to 45 minutes earlier. So avoiding stimulation activities like answering email or searching Facebook, and opting instead for more relaxing ones like taking a warm bath, reading, or relaxing with
making love.
No, that's also a good example.
Yeah,
just listening to the music, for instance. Mm-hmm. So that could be really helpful. And the second is to spend a few minutes reviewing what's on your mind before you go to sleep, and then write down anything that's worrying you. What you are doing is effectively parking these concerns so that they don't end up keeping you from falling asleep or back asleep in the middle of the night. So sleep is vital for good physical and mental health. Good sleep habits can help help you better process information, make effective decisions, and regulate your emotions. As essential as sleep is for recharging your emotionally, it cannot be forced. So the key is to create the right conditions, the right habits, rituals, and adopt habits to help you be calm and relaxed when sleep time is near.
And according to Ayurvedic psychology, after 6 p.m., it is the best time. Actually, our hormones are settling down, and it's the best time for touching, but not the screen, not the phone, not the computer, but touching another person. So this is how we are slowly becoming to relax and to get into this mode, this winding down, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. The next very good tip is being close to the nature. Research reveals that environments can increase or reduce our stress, which in turn impacts our bodies as well. What you are seeing, hearing, experiencing at any moment is changing not only your mood, but how your nervous and immune system are working. So the stress of an unpleasant environment can cause you to feel anxious, sad, helpless. This in turn elevates your blood pressure, heart rate, muscle tension, and suppresses your immune system. A pleasant environment reverses that. So being in nature or even viewing scenes of nature reduces anger, fear, and stress and increases pleasant feelings. Exposure to nature not only makes you feel better emotionally, but also it contributes to your physical well-being, reducing blood pressure, heart rate, muscle tension, and the production of stress hormones. Research done in hospitals, offices, and schools has found that even a simple plant, like here in a room, can have a significant impact on stress and anxiety. So nature helps us cope with pain because we are genetically programmed to find trees, plants, water, and other nature elements engrossing. We are observed by nature's scenes and distracted from our pain and discomfort. So we highly recommend you spending just 25, it can be 25, but it can be also 20 minutes connected with nature, and it can help lower stress hormone levels. Mm-hmm.
And it's because the green color is influencing our brain, and it's reducing the stress hormones as well. And on the picture, you can see us. This is our weekend, the last weekend. We just came back yesterday evening, and we went to the mountains, doing some kind of trekking and hiking. And even though we were really tired physically, then we really felt the benefits on our emotions and mental capacities.
Mm-hmm. The next one is diet. So many people feel tired or run down at some point during the day. A lack of energy could affect your daily activities and make you less productive. So your energy levels are greatly impacted by your diet. The type and quantity of food you eat play essential roles in determining your energy levels during the day. Experts recommend a mix of complex carbohydrates, such as whole grains and starchy vegetables with lean proteins and healthy fat at each meal. A healthy diet is essential for good health and nutrition. It protects you against many chronic diseases such as heart disease or cancer. Eating a variety of foods and consuming less salt, sugars, and saturated and industrially produced trans fats are essential for healthy diets. So a healthful diet typically includes nutrient-dense food from all major food groups, including lean proteins, whole grains, healthful fats, and fruits and vegetables of many colors. So it's really important to remember that diet is crucial to have this energy from this physical area. And the last area from physical energy is relaxation. As we mentioned, we live in hectic lifestyles. We run deadlines. It's really important to take some renewal break at least every 90 minutes. We operate best when we take renewal breaks at last every 90 minutes during the day. So it's not how long you work that determines the value you produce, but rather the energy you bring to whatever hours you work. Likewise, it's not how long you take off that matters most, it's how skillfully you renew. Our bodies regularly tell us to take a break. So if you have smartwatch, it also can help you that it's time for move or it's time to have a break. But very often we override these signals and instead stoke ourselves up with caffeine, sugar, and our own energy reserves. So the stress hormones, adrenaline, rises. You can use some activity that can help you relax more. Breathing deeply for as little as a minute, for example, can completely clear the body of cortisol. And not only should we start our day feeling refreshed, but we should continue to refresh at various points throughout our day. So you can meditate, you can focus on your breathing, you can do some visualization, or you can just stare at your plant for 2 minutes and or maybe through your window and it will be also very okay. The second area that is really important, so it's mental energy. So when it comes to recharging our personal battery, it's important to pay attention to our mind. It's very crucial to take care about our mental energy because we experience information overload very often. So we are living in a world of busyness and information overload. So information overload is something we are facing in everyday life. When we are dealing with too much information, it impacts our ability to make decisions and remain productive. But with a constant barrage of emails, communication, social media, and more, it's really difficult to avoid. Information overload is when your brain exceeds its processing capacity and leaves you feeling tired, and excessive data input that the brain mind is processing during the day. And the brain can be compared to a quantum computer, where the brain is the hardware and the mind thoughts being the software. We are producing between 70,000 to 100,000 thoughts daily, excluding our subconscious thinking. So all day we are constantly learning new facts, information, and insights about work, school, family members, or life in general. We are really bombarded with too much information, resulting in information overload. So how to recharge ourselves. Information overload can cause everything from headaches to anxiety to simply making it's impossible to focus. So being happy, productive, and successful means dealing with information overload. We highly recommend you mindfulness. Meditation is a really great solution. So spending also 20 minutes to practice meditation each day can go a long way. So studies show that meditation not only improves focus and memory, but also changes the way your body responds to stress. Studies show that it reduces stress, controls anxiety. In other words, it can help to tackle the negative effects of information overload. And right now we would like to show you a short animation about mindfulness. And I think that it could be really helpful to get familiar with this I guess activity, or
it's a really very short film that will get you more familiar with what mindfulness is. Maybe you are already practicing it, or maybe not. It's an animation made by a person who is
founder of Headspace application.
And the Headspace application is the application that has lots of different meditation recordings that you can use in order, whenever you are, wherever you are, except of driving a car, of course. Avoid closing your eyes, but if you are sitting in a bus or walking, you can always just, relax your mind.
Training the mind is often quite different to how people imagine it to be. Maybe they have an idea it's about stopping thoughts or eliminating feelings, but the reality is a bit different. An easy way to think of it is to imagine yourself sitting on the side of a busy road, the passing cars representing the thoughts and the feelings. All you have to do is to sit there and watch the cars. Sounds easy, right? But what usually happens is that we feel a bit unsettled by the movement of the traffic. So we run out into the road and try and stop the cars, or maybe even chase after a few, forgetting that the idea was to just sit here. And of course, all of this running around only adds to the feeling of restlessness in the mind. So training the mind is about changing our relationship with the passing thoughts and feelings, learning how to view them with a little more perspective. And when we do this, we naturally find a place of calm. Will we sometimes forget the idea of the exercise and become distracted? Of course we will. But as soon as we remember, here we are, back on the side of the road again, just watching the traffic go by, perfectly at ease in both body and mind.
So as you see, we are distracted by many things, from social media to emails and many other information, and that can cause information overload. That's why it's so important to be mindful and also use this technique from Headspace application, or you have other application that can help you being or staying mindful.
And it's more about practicing your mind to be with time mindful everywhere. So the more you are bombarded with information or external stimulus, actually you should practice meditation or other mindfulness exercises more often. So you have this kind of mindful mind, right? Wherever you are. Okay, so let's go. Do I have here? No. Okay, so Kasia has covered the first quadrant, the physical activity, the second, which is the mental activity. And I will talk a little bit about emotional and spiritual activity. Of course, you don't have to agree with us. You need to check yourself if it's working or not. So as it comes to emotional energy, at the emotional level, our core need is to feel safe, secure, and valued. And the more attentive we are to meeting those core needs, the less likely we are to feel overwhelmed and exhausted, and the more sustainably high performing we are capable of becoming. So how we operate on our emotional levels on a daily basis, this will influence the quality of our lives as well. And Daniel Goleman was the psychologist who actually invented the concept of emotional intelligence, and he wrote that perceiving and understanding emotions help us to facilitate thinking and manage our emotions. So the ability to identify even lousy mood can be very useful for motivating a change, because negative mood improves attention to detail and results in better memory. What we would like to share with you is the current the report made by Institute of Gallup. And this report is the recent one, and it's called the State of the Global Workplace 2021 report. And it's covering the effects of the pandemic and how it actually affected different emotions. So Gallup typically surveys 1,000 individuals in each country or area, and this time they carried out surveys in 160 countries and areas by nearly 2021. And this report survey, they annually actually do surveys around the world to determine people's experiences of daily emotions. And this report focuses on the emotional experiences of employed adults. So there was a question asked to the respondents. So did you experience the following feelings during a lot of the day yesterday? How about worry? So when it comes to daily worry, 41% of employees that were interviewed experienced worry during a lot of the previous day. So emotions like worry, stress, anger, and sadness increased for employees globally in 2020, so in the previous year. Western Europeans experienced some of the smallest effects on their negative emotions from 2019 to 2020, and employees in this region saw a decline in stress and anger. As it comes to daily stress, for example, there was 43% of employees experienced stress during a lot of the previous days. And working women in Western Europe reported lower daily stress in 2020 than in 2019, possibly due to supportive social safety nets in many European countries, such as well-developed social systems that help to prevent some job loss and unemployment. But still, the overall global daily stress has increased significantly. As it comes to daily anger, 24% of employees experienced anger during a lot of the previous day. And reported feelings of anger among those who are employed reached a record high in 2020. So just to show you the last emotion, which was daily sadness, 25% of employees experienced sadness during a lot of the previous day. Sadness among employees increased by 4 points globally in 2020. And globally, more employed women than employed men say they experience sadness a lot of the previous day. So these are the results of the report as it comes to surveying respondents and just monitoring daily unpleasant, let's say unpleasant, not negative, but unpleasant emotions that people were globally experiencing. So it's a question to you now. What kind of emotions do you experience at work? So whatever they are, we would like to share with you now a wheel of emotions. There are a lot of different emotions that are we normally we are not aware of those emotions, or we don't even find a name for them. We cannot even name them. So could you please write in the chat the top 3 emotions that you have experienced lately, maybe in the last weeks, months? What are the 3 top dominating emotions that you have been experiencing? And I would like to share with you this wheel so you can see the emotions more closely. Okay. So let me just open the document so you can have a look at the screen. And I will share. So can you please share with us? And probably you can see now the emotion wheel. So this is the wheel with many different emotions, from very pleasant to very unpleasant ones. They are divided into 6 main categories, like sad, mad, scared, joyful, powerful, and peaceful. And have a look at them and think of at least 1, 2, or 3 top dominating emotions, so you are more aware of what actually you are experiencing now.
So frustration, hope, anxiety, thankful and anxious, overwhelmed, valuable, respected, relaxed. Great emotions. Valuable, respected, and relaxed. Overwhelmed, inadequate, remorseful.
Sometimes it happens that we experience simultaneously in the same moment emotions that you may find them opposite. So I'm sad and happy at the same time, or I feel tired but somehow recharged, or I feel peaceful and anxious at the same time. So it may happen as well. Overwhelmed, frustrated, inferior. Thankful and anxious, overwhelmed, okay. So the first step is just to being aware of what kind of emotion I'm experiencing, because behind every emotion there is a energy, there is an energy background. So anger makes us do things as well. Maybe it's not pleasant for our bodies, but it's a message behind and the energy behind. When I'm angry, I'm always cleaning my apartment very, very carefully because I have a lot of emotion, a lot of energy when I'm really like angry or pissed off, and I'm doing the best cleaning. So you can transform those energies, those emotions into, you know, energetic activities as well. Okay, so thank you for sharing, for those who are sharing. I love my job. This is the place where we all want to be, Mauricio. Doing the things we love to do. Okay, let me get back to this. Wheel of emotions. So the first step is to be aware, name the emotion, and then you can identify. So actually, what is happening now in my life that I'm experiencing this emotion, without, you know, judging, without blaming yourself, without, you know, trying to figure out whether it's bad or good. It's just, you know, being neutral and just trying to understand, okay, so what actually is happening that I'm feeling overwhelmed or frustrated or irritated or burned out. And it is connected with the next piece of information for you as it comes to managing the energy behind emotions. We can have some kind of a 4 emotional quadrants. So in this diagram, you can see 4 common energy and emotional zones that we all experience in our daily lives. So there is this kind of misconception that we should keep trying to perform our best at all times. So burnout happens when we unconsciously overspend our energy by pushing, insistently to peak our performance. Energies are overspent or drained when we are staying in both high energy levels of survival zone. So, for example, emotions like impatience, irritation, and anger, as you can see, top left side of the diagram, and the performance zone. So, top right part of the diagram. So, emotions like challenge, engage, and invigorated for too long. Consequently, we will be experiencing underuse of energy if we stay in the burnout zone. So the bottom left side of the diagram. So, for example, emotions like feeling exhausted, empty, depressed, hopeless. For too long as well. So it's okay to stay in each quadrant, emotional quadrant, but it's not okay to stay there for too long. So the advice is to find ways to get to the renewal zone, so on the bottom right side of the diagram, often enough for a more sustainable, fully engaged performance zone. So awareness of dropping into the renewal zone will also help you to strategically disengage in order to recover from burnout zone and survival zone more quickly. So these engagement activities actually should help you grow emotions like a sense of peacefulness, carefree, and receptiveness. And studies have shown that a wandering or disengaged mind offers mental breaks that is useful to alleviate mental fatigues and even improve creativity. So actually, what you can do on a daily basis is you can practice gratitude, for example. You can be more mindful of negative emotions and how to dissolve them quickly by sitting meditation or practicing the gratitude. Improving maybe relationship with family members, by being engaged in, conversations of being present. So, in a nutshell, you have 4 energy zones, and when people think about their energy level, they usually only think it can be high or low or somewhere in between. However, there are really 4 kinds of energy here. So high positive energy, low positive energy, high negative energy, and low negative energy. So how you can, get into this energy zone. So it's wise to check in with yourself throughout each day and ask yourself the following 3 questions. So maybe let's have let's consider today, like for us, it's a full day already has passed, but for you, it's starting your morning. So have a look now and please answer these questions, and you can share in the chat. which energy zone are you in now? Maybe it's a survival zone. So high negative. Maybe it's burnout zone, so low negative. Maybe it's a performance zone, so high positive, or maybe it's a renewal zone, so low positive. We are very curious. What is your experience? Which energy zone are you in now? Survival, performance, burnout, or renewal? Performance, survival, burnout. Okay, different people in different zones. Renewal.
Thank you, Agnieszka. It's very good that you didn't write that
Performance.
it's burnout. This webinar is burnout. So thank you.
Performance renewal. Okay. Hello, Alicia, my friend. Aga. Okay, next question, guys, for you is or not? Which energy zone would you like to be in? Would you like to stay in the burnout zone? Would you like to move to performance or maybe renewal zone? Where would you like to be?
Or maybe both.
Renewal, peaceful, performance. Okay. So there are significant benefits to managing where you are at a given time. Being calm would be fine. Performance and new renewal. I'm in the performance now. I would like to stay between performance and renewal. Okay, so again, we need to be very mindful and careful what to do, how to get back to this renewal zone as often as possible. Because now it's actually like a brainstorm session for you. What could you do to get into that energy zone naturally? So what could you do to stay between performance and renewal? What could you do to be as often as possible in the performance or in the renewal? Not take work home with me.
Also, you can take some tips from physical energy, from mental energy.
What could you do? So putting in the reverse, in the opposite NG way, not taking work home would mean to be more assertive. So I could be more assertive. I could learn how to say no when it's healthy for me to say no. I could get more sleep. Once we realize that we are the only person that is responsible for our own mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health, it means that it is us to decide, right? This is me who is responsible to decide that I need more sleep, that I'm more assertive. So at times you will find that your energy is actually higher than you would like. For example, maybe you are feeling angry and you want to calm down, or maybe you are feeling wide awake and you want to go to sleep. So meditation, deep breathing, journaling, light reading, light stretching, yoga, listening to peaceful music could all help you move into a low positive state. in either of these scenarios. You will also experience times when your energy is lower than you would like. For example, maybe you are feeling sad about something in your personal life, or maybe you're feeling sluggish because you had a heavy meal a couple of hours earlier. So in either case, you could get into a higher and more positive state by socializing with one of your favorite people, watching an inspirational video clip, listening to
or video with nature.
Listening to, birds singing. Actually, there are benefits of the different zones. So high positive energy provides many benefits. So we often do our best work when we are vibrant, enthusiastic, fearless. This zone is also where you usually want to be when you want to inspire or influence other people. However, the other zones can serve a purpose as well. So the low positive zone is generally a good place to be during, reflective activities, when you want to be alone, when you need just to take time for yourself. For example, when you write something, right, you need to be in a low positive state. So in this renewal, mellow, relieved, peaceful state. Being too amped up, too high positive energy would make it much more difficult for you, for example, to sit still and write. I'm going for, like, Wednesday evenings, I'm going for dancing, and I'm so hyper arousal after dancing that it's so hard for me to fall asleep. So I need to be careful about this as well. And, it's only, in the evenings very late, but at least I know that, okay, I may have difficulty with falling asleep. And so in addition, there are times when negative energy can even be beneficial. For example, some coaches and athletes, they believe that they perform better when they are angry, because anger has an extremely huge energy behind. So probably you have experienced yourself that when you are angry, you make decisions, you do things, right? You clean your house, or you end up relationships, because this emotion gives you a lot of energy. So energy is not just high or low or somewhere in between. Energy can be high positive, low positive, high negative or low negative. And more energy is not always better, and less energy is not always worse. So there are times when decreasing your energy can actually be beneficial, such as when you want to be more reflective, right? And you want to prepare for sleep, as Kasia said, right? There is a time when you can prepare for just slowing down your day. And we are really always on full capacity. So you have the power to determine when and for how long you find yourself in each energy zone. So it is up to you whether you stay in the survival zone, you decide to go to burnout zone, you decide to go to performance zone or renewal zone. And it's up to you to take this responsibility to figure out what you could do to get to this renewal more often, right? Or performance more often. So when you find yourself in a zone that is out of sync with where you want to be, ask yourself what you can do to move yourself into a better zone for that moment, and take control of managing your energy. Don't allow your energy or lack of energy to control you. Kasia, would you like to add something?
You can use these tips from physical area, from mental area, so you can meditate for time to time. You can take care of your sleep, of your diet, and the other things that I mentioned. So as you see, the physical area, the mental area also influence the emotional area, and also spiritual energy, the spiritual area that we will also talk about. But we have many tips, many wisdom around us. So it's not the case that we know about it. Rather, we use it. we have better habits. Maybe we know a lot of about these tips. You knew these tips before this webinar. It's not about knowledge; it's about activity.
Practice.
So,
And, once you figure out, okay, I'm in the survival zone, I'm in the burnout zone, what can I do just to get back as quickly as I can to the renewal zone? Maybe I need to say no to something or say no to someone. So actually, this is what I said at the beginning, that the best habit we would like to share with you is where I can disengage. So what I'm ready to get rid of in order to find more space for this renewal zone.
Get rid of, or sometimes say yes to something.
Mm-hmm. Or say no. Or eliminate.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm engaged somewhere when maybe I don't need to be engaged in, in full capacity. Maybe I need to disengage from certain activities in order to be more in the performance zone or renewal zone. And last but not least, let me go through a little bit my favorite, I would say, very up-to-date spiritual energy. So it's a lot to talk about here. So probably each of you have your own ideas how to recharge yourself spiritually. So contemplating on your values, what I really value in life, who I love the most, what has the meaning, what is my purpose, what is my truth? Am I living my truth? Am I living according to what I'm actually, my soul path? So finding meaning in what I do, whether I love my job, I do things that they bring me joy and I love doing them, or maybe,
love my job, love my life.
Or maybe I
spend
most of my time doing things I really don't like.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you are practicing meditation, whatever meditation it is. So I would say here about a practice that is meditating practice or praying, and it's not in a religious sense praying, but it's more like when it comes to praying, how you can cleanse your energy and refuel by a very powerful tool that is praying. And when you consider God as a very, very high vibration, the highest vibration, like the God who is the creator, whatever your religion is, then you are not communicating with the God, because God is the very, very high vibration. So, it's too high vibration for us. So we are not communicating directly with God, but we are just synchronizing with the energy tunnel. And we have our needs that we are praying for, right? So I don't know, maybe we pray for health, maybe we pray for a better job, maybe we pray for, I don't know, whatever it is. We need to create this internal image. And a very efficient prayer is when you are creating a lot of emotions, feelings around this. So you are really feeling like your faith is really emotional. So when you are creating this emotional energy around your prayer, then it is getting much more efficient. And when you are perceiving like the God, the creator, is something very positive, and you are open to receiving, then miracles can happen, and then you are really recharged spiritually. There are some rules how to pray, and maybe according to really ancient wisdom, among different traditions around the world, people pray early in the morning, and there is a reason behind why they do it. So the best time to pray is between 4 and 6 a.m. because this is the highest energy of the day. And around 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning, our crown chakra, the last chakra, 7th chakra, is really open. And with the sunrise, our aura is the best. And actually, there is a wisdom saying that when you make babies, when you make love and make babies early in the morning, these babies are very healthy energetically, very recharged energetically, because the souls were brought with a very powerful energy in the morning. So when you eat the breakfast and you pray after, at breakfast, dinner during the midday, the prayer is not that efficient. In the evening, it's more like synchronizing, harmonizing yourself better, but it's not about charging you up. So, so, for example, this is one of the ideas how you can charge your spiritual energy. And the last thing I would like to say here is there is a difference as well how we women and men are, exposed to recharging the energy. For example, if women are being more open to receiving, more dependent, then our level of feminine hormones, which is estrogens, are rising. So we need to practice the trust. When we practice the trust, when we are allowing ourselves, physically, psychologically, spiritually to be, let's say, naked and live our truth, then our feminine hormones are rising. And as it comes to men, when men are acting and are giving, then masculine hormones are rising. So the testosterone is rising. And when men are only just taking, for example, and, they are just not giving but taking, they become more aggressive and mentally dysfunctional as well. So this is one of some tips how you can recharge yourself spiritually. And maybe I think it's a good time to
for questions
from your side.
If you could just share with us your reflection about these tips that we mentioned, or maybe you would like to take something from this webinar. That would be really grateful to hear from you.
So maybe you can raise your hand and then I will just click the button to allow you talking, or maybe if you feel more comfortable, you can just type it in the chat box.
If you have any questions about this area,
whatever
these areas,
so emotional energy,
mental, physical,
spiritual, maybe you would like to share with us your practices that are working for you,
your observations, reflections.
Kasia, maybe you have a question.
Let me think.
You would like to know, maybe, I don't know, the performance renewal zone, the title of the book of Tony Schwartz and his model of managing your energy, not time.
Or if you could just pick one thing, the most important for you, from this webinar that would you like to implement in your daily life?
Among different rituals and habits, maybe there is one that, oh, you said, oh, this is
really good for me.
This is
I think that it will be very helpful for me.
I would say, Agnieszka, it's crucial.
For me, it will be to take care of my body and mental health. Okay.
Staying alone, it's very important for us to dedicate time for us, because once we spend time with us, we connect with our, ourselves, our souls, then
our values.
We nurture ourselves, then we can share with others, we can nurture others.
I struggle with emotional energy the most. The biggest takeaway for me, I think, is to remember to take care of the physical, and it will help with the emotional. That's right. I spend too much time in my own head. So sometimes it's really helpful to stay alone and think about many thoughts, but it's very helpful very often to dedicate to some activity that help us to not being all the time in our thoughts. So the balance is very important. I love the fact that you include praying on this presentation.
It's, it's very, sometimes it's intimate and people don't talk about it, but it's like, it doesn't matter the country you are from, the religion, it's more like
connecting with something higher than we think.
And it really, once we are overwhelmed, and sometimes just dedicating our lives and, our problems to the creator, the God, gives us this kind of, feel of being taken care of and relieved, maybe. So it's influencing as well mental and emotional state.
That also help us to keep the distance, because when we think, for instance, about God as the universe, that can be also very helpful. So I'm not a religious person, but I believe in the universe, and that helped me a lot.
And Cindy, this was not included in the Thomas in the Schwartz book we were referring to. The feminine and masculine hormones is a part of very Ayurvedic, Vedic psychology, and I would say ancient wisdom. And I think it was written in the book of, what was the title? That women are from Venus and men are from Mars. And there was a research that what happens when women are acting like men. So they are in this very masculine energy. So they are, producing testosterone. And he says a lot about why a lot of women are having problems with getting orgasms, for example, because they are having too high testosterone and too low estrogens. So it's getting back to, the basic wisdom that women are dedicated for different, they are taking care of energy differently than men. And the same activities can influence both gender differently.
Tony Schwartz only refers to when we discuss spiritual energy, he only refers to purpose, to values that we share in our lives. So it was added knowledge.
But if you are interested more in this psychotronic, energetic psychology, Vedic psychology, which I'm a great fan of, you just contact me, please, and I will just give you some kind of inspirational video or links.
Do we have another question?
No.
Okay.
But I would like to share with you the last slide, which is actually what we are doing with Kasia. And we would like to offer you some kind of, I would say, if you are interested in, we are working on online courses, so like education for adults, mainly on emotional intelligence. So we have finished 2 online courses. One is on mental toughness and resilience in leadership. The second one is on emotional intelligence, focused on self-awareness. And we are working on the third one, which is social awareness. And the fourth one is concerning energy management. So each course is about 12 to 15 hours long, of course, in your pace. In your pace, you can do it, in longer hours. And if you are interested, every course is listed on the peregrineglobal.com, and you can have a discount with the discount code. And this is a special offer for you for this webinar by the end of August. So if you are interested, just let us know. We will be very happy to share with you information, giving you the, what is inside the course if you are interested in it.
So if you don't have any questions, we would like to say thank you for participation in our webinar.
Or maybe you will have some questions afterwards. Maybe you will, digest the information and get back to us. You can find us on LinkedIn, or you have our emails, LinkedIn profiles. So please just feel free to contact us.
And please remember that energy is the fuel of life. So the more energy you have, the greater will be your ability to achieve what you want, love.
Whatever it is.
Yes. So thank you once again.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody who just were with us. Thanks a lot, and have a great evening or day. And remember to get to the renewal zone and recharge your batteries.
Please remember about your internal batteries, not only about your phone.
Hopefully hear you.
Okay, so take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.